This next section has only been made to help reinforce what we just discussed in relation to health and defence with a worked example, hopefully allowing you to make sense of everything that has been covered. What I will be doing is showing you the in-game significance of having health and defence as close as can be, as opposed to one over the other. This will be done by showing you the difference between troops remaining and severely wounded when we have no gear or 2 pieces of health equipment. This will then help you to understand the importance of health and defence in a garrison situation. First things first, I will need to select my chosen commanders and my testing parameters, so I will be going for Charles Martel as my primary commander, and as my secondary commander I will be selecting Scipio Africanus. Reason for these choices is that I don't want skill damage to be a factor we have to work against in the data collection, as the damage value of each skill is down to chance. I will be only killing level 44 barbarians, and I will only be bringing 231,000 tier 5 infantry per each engagement. I will not be using the technology from my alliance, and I will not be advancing my crystal technology until this period of testing is complete. So the first phase of testing will involve me fighting the level 44 barbarians, with no equipment. I will do this 6 times. The data I will be recording will be the number of severely wounded troops sent to the hospital, and the number of troops remaining on the battlefield after the engagement. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with the footage of all the fights, so let's jump straight into the data. So I have put all the results into a nice and easy to read table. So here you can see I have taken all the results from each engagement and created an average for each section. Those results in red indicate the maximum value of the range of the results, and thereby, as you probably predicted, the light green value indicates the minimum value of the range. So with no gear, we got an average severely wounded value of 172.5, so we can say 173 troops ended up in the hospital on average each time. The average number of troops remaining was 190,008 troops. Now, to add some significance to this for later, let's look at the base statistics for Charles Martel and Scipio Africanus. So we can see we had 114% infantry attack, 114% infantry defense, and 86.5 infantry health. So we can see here that the lower value between health and defense is health. So let's add 2 pieces of health equipment to boost the health stat and bring it closer to that of the defense stat. So we are going to add the Special Talented Gatekeeper Shield, which gives us 10.5% health. We are going to pair this with a Special Talented Karox Humility, I think that's how you pronounce it, which also gives us 10.5% health, which means in total we are boosting the health stat by 21%. So this should give us a total health value of 107.5%, as we will show a little later. So now we have the new equipment on, we will do the same thing and battle level 44 barbarians and then collect the results of the severely wounded and the number of troops remaining. The only difference here is I will be doing 10 attempts as I had more free time than usual, hopefully giving us a more representative average. Before jumping into the data, I will quickly show the troop buffs when this march was equipped with 2 health pieces, to show where health and defense are from one another. Like stated previously, the health value is now at 107.5%, bringing it closer to the defense stat. Once again, I will not bore you with each individual fight, so I have plotted the results into a table for easy reference. As with the previous set of data from combat with no gear, the red highlights the maximum value of the range and the light green represents the minimum value of the range. I have done this so those that are interested can compare the ranges between the 2 series of tests to see the impact. So let's get straight into the averages. So the average number of severely wounded troops was 167.7, So that means, on average, 168 troops would have ended up in the hospital. For the number of troops remaining, the average was 195,483 troops. So if we compare between the averages of no gear and that with gear, we can see that there is a difference between the results. The results generally show that when we have the 2 health equipment on our primary commander, we get less troops sent to the hospital, and we get more troops remaining at the end of the battle. I have shown this in the table with the difference between no gear and gear, so you can see there is roughly 5 more troops sent to the hospital on average if you have no gear as opposed to equipping 2 health pieces. And there is 5,475 less troops remaining on the field after the engagement is finished if you have no gear as opposed to if you have 2 health pieces. The significance comes into play when we multiply this up to 2 million troops, which is your general capacity of a rally and a garrison. So the difference between 231,000 and 2 million, this is as the troop capacity, is a factor of 8.658. So if we multiply the difference by this factor, we will get the average number of troops that end up in the hospital as severely wounded and that of troops remaining. So you can see here that we generally would have 42 troops more heading to the hospital if we had no gear as opposed to 2 health pieces equipped with this commander pair. Furthermore, we would generally have 47,403 less troops remaining if we had no gear as opposed to 2 health pieces equipped with this commander pair. None of this is obviously representative of a rally versus garrison situation, as firstly the choice of commanders are wrong, we have none of the bonuses we would usually have, there is no skill damage playing into effect, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. But what I want you to see is the impact and significance when we scale this test up to that of a rally versus garrison population. When we had no gear, the difference between the defense value and the health value was quite large, but the closer we brought that health to the defense value, the better the outcome became, and the more troops we had remaining at the end of the fight. Why do I hold on to this? If we have a greater number of troops remaining at the end of the battle, that means we have sustained the damage inflicted on us, for example from a rally, more effectively. This then pushes the outcome of the battle in our favour, and it makes it more difficult for the enemy to take down the structure or stronghold you are defending. I hope now you can appreciate the importance of bringing the health stat as close as you can to the defense stat to help mitigate damage effectively in a defensive scenario. And you have to remember, health is always going to be the lowest stat. I hope this helps.